Hi, my name is Alexis Carroll,
Hi, I'm Stormie Collins.
and we will be presenting on the Code of Hammurabi. This code was written by the Babylonian king Hammurabi. He ruled for almost half a century in the early 18th century BC. This code set a precedent for other codes of laws to come. In comparing the Code of Hammurabi with the laws God gave in the Bible, I found that Hammurabi's laws focused on fairness and revenge, whereas the Bible commands us to turn the other cheek and to love our neighbor. However, in the Old Testament of the Bible, God commands that whoever strikes a man so that he dies shall be put to death, and that can be found in Exodus 21:12. While this seems to agree with the Code of Hammurabi, it does not agree with it on different punishments concerning social status. For example, it doesn't matter if a servant is killed or if a rich man is killed. The killer is supposed to receive the same punishment according to the Bible. But the Code of Hammurabi gives different punishments concerning the status of the person who is killed. So, like, if a rich person killed a poor person, they probably wouldn't be punished as severely as a poor person would be if they killed a rich person. Reading the laws in the Code of Hammurabi can tell us something about what the Babylonian society valued at that time. Through these laws, we can tell that the Babylonians valued fairness, honesty, speaking the truth, and property and ownership. We can see that they valued honesty and truth through the first few laws. They discuss the punishments of false accusations through these as well. So in the second law it says, if anyone bring an accusation against a man, the accused go to the river and leap into the river. If he sink in the river, his accuser shall take possession of his house. But if the river prove that the accused is not guilty and he escape unhurt, then he who had brought the accusation shall be put to death, while he who leaped into the river shall take possession of that house that had belonged to his accuser. So if you accuse somebody and it's not true, then you could actually end up being punished more severely than if that person had actually committed that crime. Most of the other laws, other than that one and the next one, talk about property and ownership issues, and an example of this would be if anyone steal cattle or sheep or an ass or a pig or a goat, if it belonged to a god or to the court, the thief shall pay 30-fold therefore. If they belong to a freed man of the king, he shall pay 10-fold. If the thief has nothing with which to pay, he shall be put to death. And the next one says, if anyone break a hole into the house, break in to steal, he shall be put to death before that hole and be buried. So you can see that, like, it's pretty severe for property and ownership issues.
In regards to life, the people in ancient Babylon valued ethics and morals above all. They sought out the truth, and if there was any way that the truth was altered, then there would ultimately be consequences for their action. In many of the codes, if a person was brought to the elders with a crime, and they found it to be true, then oftentimes they would be put to death because of their moral wrongs, including in Law 3 that states, if anyone brings an accusation of any crime before the elders, and does not prove what he has charged, he shall, if it be a capital offense charge, be put to death. Then other times, if something happens on their property, but also damages their neighbor's property, then they have to pay a fine, like in Law 55 that says, if anyone opens his ditch to water his crops, but is careless, and the water flood the fields of his neighbor, then he shall pay his neighbor corn for his loss, in order to help restore integrity and not cause a family war. So in turn, life was held to moral standards that made them better humans, not only to themselves, but also to others. When comparing Hammurabi's laws to other code of laws, we see both similarities and differences. When compared to the Code of Nessalem, the main difference is that each person is held at the same standards with Hammurabi, but in Nessalem, it depends on their social status. Freemen were sentenced to less of a penalty than that of a slave. Then in the 12 tables of Roman law, their laws are based more on legality punishments, including if a man is called before the magistrate and they don't show up, then the bystanders and witnesses are legally allowed to take them by force. Overall, the Code of Hammurabi was unique and helped shape other laws into what we know today.
Thank you for watching.